Hi, I'm Beth, creator of dryitcanit.com. I like to share with you how to dehydrate food, how to can food, and original recipes that I create using either one of those. Today, I want to talk about dehydrating mushrooms and rehydrating them. Mushrooms are a great pantry staple, used in soups, stews. You can saute them. They're wonderful for so many things. Today we're going to have, as the end of the summer, we're going to have some venison with some sauteed onions and sauteed mushrooms. And I'm going to use some of my dehydrated mushrooms since I don't have any fresh ones. Now, my favorite kind of mushroom to dehydrate is portobello, but any kind of mushroom works and the process is really the same. So what you want to do is take your mushrooms. These are almost a year old. You want to take your mushrooms and slice them to about 1/4 inch thick if they're larger mushrooms. If they're the smaller button mushrooms, then you probably can just cut them in half. I always store my dehydrated mushrooms in a vacuum sealed jar. I just think they stay fresher that way. But once you have your mushrooms prepared, and you basically want to take a brush and wash them off. You can rinse them off in water. Sometimes I think they get soggy, but if you do it quick, it's okay. Put them sliced in your dehydrator, no more than about 1/4 inch thick. Put them in the dehydrator at 125 degrees. Now, because these are portobellos and they have gills in them, I always remove the gills first, simply because I think that A, they can hold dirt, and B, I think that they have more moisture in them than I want. So I took my mushrooms, I had sliced them 1/4 inch, I had dehydrated them, and again, these are from last year. And basically, you can kind of see what they look like. You know when they're done, when you take them out of your dehydrator, let them cool to room temperature, and they'll be crispy. They'll break real easily. But you have to get them to room temperature before you can test them, and that's true of any kind of product that you dehydrate. Then you want to condition them, put them in a jar or some kind of moisture-proof container for 4 to 7 days. Shake them, make sure there's no sign of moisture, make sure that they are not sticking together. These are really dry. Now what I'm going to do today is I'm going to rehydrate these, and I want to have a cup of dried mushrooms. So I'm going to put my cover back on here and seal those back up. And then I'm simply going to add water. You know, it doesn't really make any difference how much water, but you do want to make sure that your mushrooms are covered. So you can see my water is actually floating here, and that's fine. I'm going to give them a quick stir periodically. And basically, your mushrooms are going to take anywhere from maybe a half an hour to an hour to rehydrate. It's going to depend on the size of your mushrooms and the type of mushroom to some degree. If you use hot water, the process is going to go a little bit quicker. But I'm going to, like I said, put these in here. I'm going to let these soak until they're ready, and then I'm going to come back and I'll show you how much mushroom I have on the back end, and I'll talk a little bit more about what else you can do with dehydrated mushrooms. So stay tuned. I'm back. My mushrooms have completely rehydrated. They sat for about a half an hour, and what I have is my mushrooms rehydrated in a beautiful mushroom broth. Don't let that broth go to waste. So here's what I'm going to do. So again, I've got this beautiful broth, and if you taste it, it's just like mushroom liquid. It's liquid gold in my mind. So because I want to saute these, I also need to drain them. So what I'm going to do, because I want to save that liquid, is I'm actually going to drain it into an ice cube tray. And that will allow me to freeze this. There's not enough here to can, obviously. And then I'll be able to use it for gravies or making instant cups of soup, which I'll have a video upcoming on. I can use it for flavoring other things down the line also. But I'm just basically going to pour my liquid until I can feel the ice cube trays. I'm going to freeze them, and then I'm going to put the liquid, or the cubes I should say, in a vacuum seal bag and put them in the freezer until I want to use them. So get that last mushroom out of there. And what I have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 trays or 10 cubes of nice mushroom broth, which I'm not going to try and show you any more than that. This is what the mushrooms look like when they're rehydrated. Most of your rehydrated foods are not going to rehydrate to the original stage. In my experience, carrots are probably the exception. They rehydrate perfectly. But these turned out really, really well. And if you look at them, I don't know if you can see that really well or not, that you have a nice piece of mushroom, but it tastes really, really well. Tastes really, really good. I would liken it to a sauteed mushroom that is maybe cold, because this is warm and of course there's no oil on it. Maybe if I take a spoonful here and show you up close, you can see how nicely these rehydrated. So are they a 1/4 inch thick again? No, they're not. But that's okay. This is perfect for what I want to do with it. So with mushrooms, there's a couple of things you can do. Obviously, dehydrate them, store them, use them like I am, put them in casseroles, put them in soups, saute them like I'm going to do. You could use these in sandwiches, no problem also. It is not a watery tasting mushroom, it is full of flavor. The other thing that a lot of people will do, and I myself have done in the past, is to take your dehydrated mushrooms once they've been conditioned and powder them. Put them in something like a coffee grinder and powder them till they're really fine. What you have then is a mushroom powder, and that can be sprinkled on a number of things. So sprinkle that on a meat, sprinkle it on steak, mix it in with a meatloaf, mix it in with meatballs. So anytime you're not sure what to do, or maybe you have some vegetables or even some fruits that are getting down in quantity and you're not sure what to do with them, powder them, use them. There's so many creative ideas that you can do for that. So I hope you learned something today. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up so I know what kind of videos you're looking for. More importantly, I would really appreciate if you would hit the subscribe button below this video. The more subscribers I get, the more incented I am to do more programs, more how-tos, and more recipes. So thanks for learning about mushrooms with me. I hope you give it a try, and happy dehydrating.